Are you kidding me right now? Are you absolutely kidding me? WWE just pulled off something that has me furious, excited, and completely mind-blown all at the same time. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the man who has been absent from our screens, just showed up on Raw, not SmackDown, Raw, and he didn't just show up to cut a promo or acknowledge anyone. He came to absolutely demolish Bron Breakker and send a message to Cody Rhodes that literally nobody saw coming. But here's what has me absolutely heated. Why is WWE doing this now? Why are they throwing Roman Reigns onto Raw when SmackDown desperately needs star power? And why is Bron Breakker, the future of this company, being fed to Roman like he's some random jobber? I need you to sound off in the comments right now because this decision has the entire wrestling world divided, and I want to know where you stand on this absolute chaos. Let me paint the picture of how insane tonight's Raw was. We're talking about a show that was already stacked. The Vision had just retained his championship in a brutal match earlier in the night. The crowd was exhausted but satisfied. Everyone thought the show was winding down. Bron Breakker was in the ring, celebrating a massive victory, looking like the absolute beast that he is, the Intercontinental Champion, the future main eventer, the guy who's been running through everyone on Raw like a freight train with no brakes. He was soaking in the crowd's reaction, his music was blaring, and then it happened. The lights went out, complete darkness. And when they came back on, the entire wrestling world lost its collective mind. The unmistakable sound of Roman Reigns' music hit, and I'm telling you, that arena erupted like I haven't heard in months. People were screaming, jumping out of their seats, phones were immediately up recording every second. The commentary team was losing it. Michael Cole was literally yelling, "It's Roman Reigns. The tribal chief is on Raw, and Bron Breakker?" His face went from confident champion to "oh no, what's happening?" in about 2 seconds flat. This wasn't part of the script he knew about. This wasn't something he prepared for. This was Roman Reigns making a statement, and Bron just happened to be the unfortunate soul in the ring when it happened. Quick question for the comments: where were you when Roman's music hit, and what was your immediate reaction? I want to hear those genuine first moments because this is one of those wrestling memories we're going to talk about for years. Roman walked down that ramp with the kind of presence that only he possesses. No Paul Heyman. No Bloodline members. Just Roman Reigns, by himself, looking like he owns not just Raw, not just WWE, but the entire planet. The man has been gone 4 weeks, and somehow he comes back looking even more dangerous than when he left. He was wearing all black, his hair was tied back, and the look in his eyes was pure intensity. This wasn't the Roman who plays mind games. This wasn't the Roman who talks for 20 minutes before doing anything. This was a Roman Reigns who came to Raw with one purpose: destruction. Bron Breakker, to his absolute credit, didn't run. The kid has heart. He dropped his title, took off his jacket, and got into a fighting stance. This is what makes Bron special. He's not intimidated by anyone. He's faced Sheamus, he's faced Gunther, he's faced the absolute best, and he's never backed down. But Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns is a different animal entirely. This is a man who held the Universal Championship for over 1,300 days. This is a man who has beaten John Cena, Edge, Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar multiple times, and basically everyone else WWE has put in front of him. And now he was standing across from Bron Breakker, and you could feel the tension through the screen. The stare down lasted maybe 10 seconds, but it felt like an eternity. The crowd was chanting "holy shit" before anything even happened. And then Roman struck. A Superman punch out of nowhere that caught Bron completely off guard. Bron stumbled back, tried to shake it off, tried to mount some offense with those rapid-fire shoulder tackles he's known for. He even managed to hit Roman with a clothesline that would have decapitated a normal person. But Roman? He just smiled. He smiled. That sadistic, "you have no idea what you've just gotten yourself into" smile that we've seen so many times over the years. Here's another question for you: do you think Bron Breakker stood any chance in this situation, or was he doomed from the moment Roman's music hit? Really curious about your takes on this. What followed was an absolute clinic in brutality. Roman went to work on Bron with a viciousness we haven't seen from him in a while. Drive-by kick on the outside that sent Bron crashing into the barricade. Multiple Superman punches. A devastating Uranage slam on the announce table that didn't break it but left Bron writhing in pain. The referees came out to try to stop it. Roman threw them aside like they were children. Security tried to intervene. Roman took them out too. This was a man on a mission, and nothing was going to stop him from completing it. The crowd was absolutely torn. Half of them were chanting "Roman, Roman, Roman," because let's be honest, we've missed this man. The other half was booing because they love Bron Breakker and couldn't stand seeing him get dismantled like this. That's the magic of Roman Reigns. Even when he's destroying fan favorites, even when he's being absolutely ruthless, you can't look away. You can't stop watching. He's the definition of must-see TV. But here's where things got really interesting. After absolutely destroying Bron Breakker and leaving him laid out on the outside, Roman didn't leave. He grabbed a microphone. The crowd went silent. You could hear a pin drop in that arena. And Roman, in that calm, collected voice that somehow sounds more threatening than any yelling ever could, said, "Cody, you thought you ended the story. You thought WrestleMania was the end? That was just the beginning. And at the Royal Rumble, I'm taking back what's mine." The place exploded. The implications of those words are massive. Roman Reigns just declared his entering the Royal Rumble. He just put Cody Rhodes on notice. He just reminded everyone that his story with the championship is far from over. And he did it all on Raw, Cody's show, Cody's territory. This was Roman invading enemy territory and planting his flag right in the middle of it. Now, what about the Vision, you ask? Oh, don't worry, we're getting there. The Vision, fresh off his title defense, came out to confront Roman. Bad idea. Terrible idea. The Vision has been on an incredible run, he's been impressive, he's been proving himself as a legitimate champion. But when he stepped to Roman Reigns, when he got in the tribal chief's face and tried to assert dominance, Roman just looked at him. That's it. Just looked at him with those eyes that have intimidated the absolute best in this business. And the Vision, for all his confidence, for all his bravado, you could see the hesitation. Third question for the comments, the Vision versus Roman Reigns at some point down the line, who wins that match and why? Give me your detailed predictions. Roman didn't attack the Vision. That's what was so brilliant about this. He didn't need to. He made his point with Bron Breakker. He delivered his message to Cody Rhodes. Attacking the Vision would have been overkill, and Roman Reigns is too smart for that. Instead, he just smiled at the Vision, raised one finger, the one that represents his status as the tribal chief, the head of the table, the one true champion, and walked away. He left the Vision standing there looking confused, looking like he didn't know whether to feel relieved or insulted. The aftermath was chaos. Medical personnel were attending to Bron Breakker, who was selling the attack like his life depended on it, because that's how good Bron is. The commentary team was trying to process what just happened. Social media exploded with reactions, hot takes, arguments about whether this was the right move. And all the while, Roman's music was still playing, his presence still hanging over the entire show even though he was already backstage. Now let's talk about what this means going forward, because the implications are enormous. First, Roman Reigns is officially back, and he's clearly gunning for Cody Rhodes and the undisputed WWE Championship. The Royal Rumble is coming up, and if Roman wins, which, let's be honest, there's a strong possibility he does, we're looking at Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania. Again, the story that supposedly ended is getting another chapter, and I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania was perfect. It was the culmination of years of storytelling. Cody finally defeating Roman, ending the historic title reign, completing his story. It was cinema. It was wrestling at its absolute finest. Do we really need to revisit that? Do we really need to potentially undo all that beautiful storytelling? On the other hand, and this is where I'm conflicted, Roman Reigns is the biggest star WWE has. When he's on your show, when he's in your main event picture, ratings go up, ticket sales increase, social media engagement skyrockets. The man is a draw in every sense of the word, and maybe, just maybe, there's more story to tell between him and Cody. Question number 4, and this is a big one, do you want to see Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes again at WrestleMania, or should WWE move on to fresh matchups? This is probably the most important question of the night, so really think about your answer. Then there's the Bron Breakker situation. This young man just got absolutely demolished by Roman Reigns on live television. How does he recover from this? Does this hurt his momentum, or does this actually elevate him because now he has a built-in storyline with one of the biggest stars in wrestling history? Some people are arguing that WWE just buried their future champion. Others are saying this is exactly what Bron needed, a humbling moment that will fuel his character development and give him a major feud when the time is right. I lean toward the latter. Bron Breakker is young. He's got decades ahead of him in this business if he stays healthy. Taking a beating from Roman Reigns isn't going to hurt him long term. If anything, it's going to make the eventual moment when Bron does defeat Roman, and mark my words, that day will come, that much more special and meaningful. And what about the Vision? He just had a stare down with Roman Reigns and lived to tell the tale, but he also looked somewhat intimidated. Does this affect his championship reign? Does this plant the seeds for a future confrontation? The Vision has been booked strongly, but Roman Reigns exists on a different level entirely. If and when these two eventually collide, it's going to be massive. The SmackDown implications are interesting too. Roman Reigns showing up on Raw raises questions about the brand split. Is it even real anymore? Can Roman just show up wherever he wants because he's Roman Reigns? What does this mean for Solo Psycho and the Bloodline over on SmackDown? Is Roman going to acknowledge them, or is he moving forward as a solo act? So many questions, and we're going to need weeks to get all the answers. Final question for the comments, and I want everyone to answer this one. What should happen at the Royal Rumble? Should Roman win and go to WrestleMania for the title, or should someone else win and face Cody while Roman pursues a different path? Give me your fantasy booking. Tonight was historic. Roman Reigns returned not to his home show, but to Raw, and he immediately re-established himself as the most dominant force in all of WWE. Bron Breakker learned a harsh lesson about what it means to be in the ring with the tribal chief. The Vision got a preview of what might be coming his way, and Cody Rhodes has been put on notice that his reign as champion is being directly threatened by the man he thought he'd finally conquered. This is what WWE does best: create moments that have everyone talking, that divide the fan base, that generate genuine emotion and investment. Whether you loved this or hated it, whether you think it's brilliant or stupid, you're talking about it. You're watching. You're engaged. And that's exactly what they want. The road to WrestleMania just got a lot more interesting. The landscape of both Raw and SmackDown has been fundamentally altered, and Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, has made it crystal clear that he's back, is focused, and he's coming for everything. Make sure you're subscribed to Wrestling Zone 1 because we're going to be breaking down every single development in this story. Smash that like button, share this video with everyone who needs to know what went down tonight, and most importantly, get in those comments and let me know your thoughts. This is just the beginning of what's going to be an insane few months in WWE. Wrestling Zone 1, signing off.